right. So like, anyways, shit. I don't know how to start this. It's a cold open.
Good cold open. That's what I was saying. We could have just pressed that button beforehand, but now, welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the first episode of the On the Throne podcast. I am Lord Spongecake, as you're the man on the throne for today, and here we have my co-host Reaper Gel.
Hey.
Gosh, this sounded like it sounded like a talk show host. Oh my gosh. Just like, all right, so
it's great.
So tell me there, Joe, how's your life in the Beverly Hills, of course, and like just a laugh track goes off in the background.
Yeah. Oh god, I wish it lived in the Beverly Hills. Actually, no, I don't. That shit sounds expensive as fuck.
Damn straight, especially with all the forest fires and everything like that. Oh boy.
Yeah. Man.
Yeah. Nah,
so yeah, we have a podcast now. It's not like we were planning this for very long. We didn't even we just like talked about it one day and we said, you know what? Let's fucking do it.
Let's do it.
And so like we set everything up in like a single day, including like the name and like the icons of the channel and all that. And but the thing is, like, when I went to look up the name, like after we had made the channel, just to see if I could find it, and the first thing we found was another podcast with a very similar name called From the Throne Podcast. And the similarities aside, their podcasts
they feel like let's go ahead and say that they are we're the ones currently on the throne at the time, but they've been to places not very far, because we did happen to find out that From the Throne they have a bigger, way bigger following count than what we could ever achieve, what I believe at least. But they're whole centered around the podcast of explaining their how to deal with certain disabilities, and
I mean, all three of them are black people that are in wheelchairs. I haven't like explored their podcast very much, but like I just think it's really funny that like we're like, yeah, we're sitting there like, what's a good podcast title? Well, we're two dudes. Your username is Sponge Cake. That made me think of a urinal. Shit posting on the throne. There you go. So like we're a couple of shit posters, and we have like almost the same title as a three dudes, three people with like a much more serious take. But so like
that you got to go ahead, and if anybody from the throne is listening to this, we're coming for you in those numbers wise. We're hoping to become competition. Yeah. We're coming up.
Yeah, we have 5 subscribers right now, and 3 of those might be us.
3 of those are definitely us. Okay. But yeah, no, it's we went ahead and basically just started this podcast to just mostly go ahead, shoot the shit, and just throw out what's been on our minds, as well as a sporadic topics, because I feel like that, you know, behind closed doors, my friend here and I have been talking. We talk quite a bit, and I felt like that it would be a good idea to go ahead and share it through a more social media outlet.
I mean, like we just think we're really funny, and like we just want to shit post with the rest of y'all. So like this is basically just like we're not gonna like limit ourselves in our conversation topics. We'll talk about pretty much everything and anything. So you know, be prepared to laugh, cry, shake your fist, and you know, call us buttheads. But
I'm expecting plenty of death threats in the mail. Don't worry.
Yeah. Like you can reach us at gofuckyourself@gmail.com. If you have hate mail.
Gosh, this is turning out perfect. This is great. Oh man, but yeah, no. But what sort of things did we have on the agenda for today, there, friend?
I mean, like mostly just like talking about like what we're about. I mean, like what we plan to do with it. Like, you know, I mean, like we have this now, so we might as well like take it in some direction, right? We've talked about like having a few guests on. Uh, we know a couple of people like the things that we're going to talk about. Like the two of us are like huge like tabletop nerds. Like we play every week, some in multiple campaigns.
It's actually how we met, surprisingly.
Yeah. We met playing a tabletop game. So like we'll probably talk a lot about tabletop stuff. Like and like if we can, like we want to talk to like other YouTubers and that sort of business. Probably not. I don't know if we can like land like fucking PewDiePie or anything like that, but like we have
we can get PewDiePie. We just got to know the right people. We gotta have those connections to connections, my guy. I'll hook us up. Give me a year, and I'll hook us up to PewDiePie.
Yeah, throw in Elon Musk while we're at it. You know, see if he can't get us a trip to Mars.
I'll also see if we can hook ex-president Donald Trump on there as well.
Oh hell yeah! This is the best podcast. It has the best people on it.
God, I don't know why people don't like Beyond the Throne podcast. It's very, very good. I love it.
The best, even.
The best. It's got a big, beautiful throne, and I sit on that throne. I'm Donald J. Trump. Oh man.
Yep.
Yeah, folks. This is of course, the first few episodes aren't going to be perfect. They're like right now we're learning. We're getting through stuff. We're getting more natural in the after pressing that record button. But
yeah.
I feel like in the future we're going to be a lot more natural flowing and probably a lot more editing prepared as well, because I'm hoping on learning new tricks and tips and stuff like that. You know.
Speaking of editing, like you say that like we're kind of like still learning. I don't know, like this is a pretty impressive setup considering how little time this was made in. Like I kind of want to talk about this a little bit. Like we have like flashing like icon or like avatars for us for when we're talking, and then like we have this background. We have this like logo. Like I'm kind of impressed with like how all of this is set up. So like I don't know. Like you say like we're gonna get better, and I like. Man, I mean, I hope we get better, but like, I want to know what better looks like. Actually,
well, honestly, for me, I'm a bit of a I'm an amateur video editor as well as I guess in the sense I don't want to go ahead and put a ceiling over our head, saying this is the best we can do. I'm always looking for different ways that we can go ahead and improve on things. For example, hoping getting our quote unquote own avatars instead of having my character just be a RuneScape character with a close up picture of Jontron's face on it. But yes, I'm hoping to go ahead and learn different tips about editing, maybe making things more concise, maybe even start posting about little snippets that I feel would be great as little singular videos. That sounds like a lot of fun, and I'm willing to go ahead and just I'm gonna treat this as a little pet project. Treat it as my baby. Want to go ahead and give. I want to nurture it. I want to see it grow, and if not, then I'll take it to Planned Parenthood.
All right. So that leads me into my next question. What would you consider like successful for this channel? Like, I mean, we started at like the end of February, so like if we do this all the way till like the end of December, what would you consider like a good most of a year?
For most of the year, if we could get 25 to 30 subscribers, I would be impressed.
All right, that's about what I was expecting too.
It's a low goal. Don't get me wrong, but at the same time, all YouTubers start somewhere, and they just got to go ahead and like it. People grow from hard work, and so I feel like if we put the effort into it, we keep on improving our content, and maybe get better equipment. In the meantime, we'll hopefully be able to gather a following that just seems to like this type of humor, and this sort of something that they can go ahead and put on in the background while they're at work, or while they're just playing a game and just learn a little bit, or just hopefully have a laugh, have a good time.
I mean, like I kind of already do that with fucking VTubers, and like I'm gonna be honest. like we have some tough competition because we're not cute anime girls. Like I hate to be honest. Like
I
like
okay, I really
would
hate
you
to
read
say
would you read
this that because so the sort of mini avatars that we have and for all of our viewers watching that have over video, they our avatars will do a little blink and they light up and I went ahead and was talking to one of my video editing friends, and they went ahead and taught me this. I was very appreciative of it. And what ended up happening is that I found out that the main sort of way that they learned how to do this was through VTubers. So as much as I'm not the biggest fan of VTubers. They don't really appeal to me, and I find them more not i- very. I find the whole concept of them very very peculiar. So as much as I like to sort of either rag on them or just generally not like them, I gotta give them credit where it's due that they've impressed me with this, I guess, editing style that I've stolen from them.
I mean the technology in general is just like really impressive. Like the like like the if we're talking about VTubers in general, like motion tracking, like voice tracking, all of the expressions and all of that, like it's very very like impressive. And for those of you watching who think Sponge is crazy, don't worry, I'm right there with you. I'm a huge fan of a VTubers. Ever since like Hololive EN came out, I've
I
basically been watching them every day for a couple of hours.
Oh my
Um,
gosh. All
it,
right. I do I need to say more on why I don't like them? Like I feel like this is going to go ahead and come up between like both of us and like having a sort of debate on why, what makes them good, what makes them not, et cetera, et cetera.
nah. I'm just gonna make fun of you every time it comes up and just like make fun of like how you're the weird one here.
Listen, I'm not in the minority here, okay? If I go ahead and go to my parents and say, "Hey, Dad, what do you think of this? What do you think of this like anime
My,
person?"
my mom, my parents say I'm normal.
Yeah,
That's you right now.
yeah, they're gonna be like, "Oh, what is that?" But if you go to, okay, fine, you want to go ahead and say that you're the normal one here, go and bring it up to your parents, okay? Go bring it up to your like,
My boomer parents.
yes,
My
what
literal boomer parents.
tell them, hey, this is what I like to watch. What do you think? Do you like
They
this?
don't
Would
even
you
like my music. Do you think they're gonna like my content?
exactly? I'm more of a sort of mature guy. I don't really.
Oh,
I don't like. I can understand why people like it, but I don't. I don't like it myself. My gosh, like okay. The reason why I mostly don't like it in a sense, don't get me wrong, they have very talented CGI skills. Like in some cases, a lot of times better than movies. They have in the animation department, it's wonderful, and I like what they're doing there. But I do not like the sort of idolization culture that comes with it. For
that's
let me go ahead and finish that. In I feel like in America there is there are more there is some idolization with celebrities and celebrities that in between from the differences between like general appreciation to them to fangirling to almost you know doxing them, trying to find out where they are just to like get their toenails from the shower. But I feel like in Japan, where it's genuinely hosted, where this is sort of originating, that they sort of have that scaling sort of it's a bit more heightened up in a sense, more advanced, where these VTubers like they're I kind of worry for them in a sense that I feel like that they only can be seen as these characters. They can only be seen as them. Like they couldn't go ahead and say, "Hey, this is the real me over on this side profile picture." Like, yeah, I also voice this character and like stuff like that, but this is me over here, like on a side little social media. Which, to be fair, you see a lot of people doing that. Voice actors for anime, they don't, and like voice actors just in general, other like careers in gaming, etc., etc. The influencers, a lot of people do that, but I feel like in this sort of demographic over here for don't get me wrong, there's probably a lot more in like there's stuff like this in all fandoms, but I've noticed it more in the VTuber fandom that uh they tend to be more I am this character like through my tweets, through my videos, through my like, whatever source that I am this character and that if that they need to sort of keep their real life anonymous. And if their real life were to come out in a sense that it would be that the mega fans, which is a large a lot of them, a lot more than some fandoms, would go ahead and be, really trying to like mess with them, like either dox them or like do a bunch of you know, mega fan stalker
Unsavory
stuff.
things.
Exactly. Yeah. So
I mean,
yeah,
well,
that's where I wanted to go ahead and say that's where I was viewing it from. And like I said, I have appreciation for them. I just don't feel like I guess more of it. I don't have a thing with VTubers. I have a more thing about just their idolization culture, and that's where I'll go ahead and leave that.
I mean, so like I was about to say is like it doesn't sound like you have a problem with like the VTubers at all. It's just like the way like you're more concerned about like the way fans treat certain VTubers and the fact that like VTubers don't drop character even when they're like not streaming.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, like because I mean I think I'd find it a bit weird if people go on Twitter post about like either their politics or like just their home life, little bits about themselves. But for somebody that needs to constantly be playing a character, they need to go ahead and like sort of write down lore in a sense for like what their character actually does, and they're only referred to that character. It's kind of like a mascot costume where like imagine if somebody was constantly wearing a mascot costume, what would they would have to constantly be playing that character, and as such it would be really really weird in a sense for them to take that off. Like everybody would always see that person as that as the character they're playing, not as the person behind the mask.
I mean, I guess I can kind of see where you're coming from. At the same time, I'm like, man, I'd love to just like not be me on the internet, like that like I don't know, maybe like, I mean, I like part of the reason I enjoy like doing tabletop stuff and like role playing games is because like I get the opportunity to like not be me, and like it's not like these people like they're constantly in character. They're just like when they post on their character's profile, they're in character, or when they stream, they're in character, and like it's not even like the character is like a large shift from who they normally are, at least in a lot of cases, because like they'll stream for hours at a time. In some cases, like literally days. They'll do endurance streams and things like that, and like keeping up like a fake persona for all of that time is very difficult. So like it's not so much that they're like having like a fake character. It's more like all of that lore stuff is mostly just fun, and like they'll take it off, and like the entire purpose of like VTubing is like kind of just to remain anonymous, while also like interacting with like a large crowd. And at least like with places like Hololive, from what I understand, take this with a grain of salt, is that like they become VTubers, and like most of the people that in that company, at least in like later like generations, have had some form of like public entertainment experience. Like I wouldn't be surprised if some of the Hololive and Holostar or Holocast are like actual like YouTubers, like on the side, or like operate a channel. I don't know that for sure. I know there are some independent VTubers who are actually like like YouTubers, and I won't spoil their identities. Don't get like I'm not going to dox anyone here, but like I'm just saying like I know of some that have adopted VTuber personas for the fun of it.
Well, I mean I know one that like I don't feel it. I feel like that they posted this publicly on their social media that these like are you sure you don't want to dox them? Because like okay I know
I think we're talking about two different people.
Okay, okay. I'll go ahead and if I'm talking about who I am, I'll cut out and post. Audience, this is on you. I was talking about Pokimane.
Oh no, like she that's different.
Yeah.
Like no, like she's posting as like she's like her VTuber model is Pokimane. I'm talking about someone who's like made a completely different persona other than who they are in real life. Like I can name several people like that. I can talk about like Sykkuno. I can talk about like like there are a number of people that just like have VTuber models just because like they don't want to have to like get dressed for the camera.
Yeah.
Like,
Look,
but still they want to stream. Like,
do they go ahead and put on this sort of okay, so they do use the VTuber model, but do they go ahead and like actually talk about, you know, their personal honest life, or do they go ahead and like talk through like a sort of character in a sense?
I mean, like it depends on what you're using the model for. Like if you're like say Sykkuno or Pokimane, and I keep bringing them up because like those are the two that I know that have VTuber models that are streaming on like their normal platform. They're probably just like like streaming as they normally would, just with the avatar.
Yeah,
At least as far as I know.
I guess
like,
that I'm kind of fine with in a sense because yeah, everybody likes to have good avatar. For example, I made this special one for the podcast and also yours, but yeah, I'm like I said, I don't see myself as this sort of this king holding a stick, and I'm guessing you don't see yourself as a grim reaper with an Aztec mask, you know.
I mean, says you.
So, oh, I'm so sorry. You know, I didn't mean to offend you there. We'll be sure.
Are you saying that like I can't be a Grim Reaper wearing an Aztec mask? Is that out of line?
All right. We'll get you we're gonna come back. Like, no, now I want to change the goal. Going back. By the end of the year, I want to have have you have a rig, a HoloLive rig, where it's an
VTuber rig.
Yeah, a Grim Reaper with an Aztec mask. There we go. That's when I'll know we'll be successful.
Oh, when we have the money to pay for that. Oh man.
Hey man, if we get PewDiePie on here, I'm telling you, big boom, big
goals.
Boom. Get goals.
Like dream big. Fuck. We just started, but aim for the clouds, man.
This is amen.
Oh jeez, man. All right. Enough about VTubers though. Like I could talk about them till the cows come home. Like I love them. I love them to death. But like I understand like opinions can vary wildly, even into the weird zone.
Yeah, and plus I feel like you'd rather just spam me with VTuber vomit compilations over the DMs instead. Which,
true, I do.
It is real, folks. Just I'm gonna say it. Look at your own risk.
Yep. That they also like to refer to themselves as idols. But like you know. So you could also look up idol vomit compilation, but
God. You know, it is. I feel like that's breaking one of the 10 commandments, and there's something like don't worship false idols. Like that's it, folks. God is against VTubers. There we go.
God has spoken.
He spoke 4,000 years ago. Old Testament.
Well, I mean, like I don't like. I don't believe in God, so like you can kiss my ass.
That's where you fell. You instead of being a holy man, such as myself, you decided to stoop low into the devil. You stoop to the devil's creation, temptation of VTubers.
I saw VTubers and I said, I want to worship those feet.
You want to worship those feet, those vomit covered CGI feet.
Oh man.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the first episode, by the way. The first episode of the podcast.
Yeah, this is what you're in for. This is the kind of stuff we're going to discuss basically from here on out.
Maybe not every episode involving vomit feet, but we'll
discuss that. We'll get to Sponge's fetishes in a moment.
Oh, God. All
right. Anyways, though, like, what's next on the agenda?
Let's go ahead. You know what? I want to go ahead and bring this up with you, my friend, because I feel like that you are a man of many stories. Whenever I go ahead and sit down with you, I feel like you you of all people, the Silent Reaper himself, he just has the most spontaneous and interesting stories that just make me double take. And so I'd like to go ahead and ask you, good sir, would you like to share to the audience today about a possibly specific story about you in Spanish class?
The story. All right. So I'm going to set the scene a little bit. I was a sophomore in high school at the time for this, and I was taking like my first year of Spanish class out of 3 years, and like this was about like 2 months into the year, something like that. It was like really early. Like we were still learning the alphabet, I think, but also like writing sentences. I don't know. It was over like 10 years ago. Like it's a little fuzzy for me, but like we had this project, okay, and we had a rubric for it, and she handed me the rubric, and like I looked at it and I was like, okay, I could do this really easily. I could literally do this in an hour. And I technically wasn't wrong. So I put it off, and I kept putting it off. Like I had a whole lot of time to do this until like the lunch period before I had to go back to the Spanish class. And what I did is I took out a piece of loose leaf notebook paper, and I scribbled down some sentences. Realized that technically, like, I used like the wrong grammar, and tried to erase it. The eraser was bad, and I think I like ended up like shipping part of it off, like smudging it out. So I ended up like scribbling out the sentences instead, and then like rewriting them. And then like I scribbled it out again, and like, instead of like rewriting the entire sentence, I literally just like wrote the replacement word underneath it. And like the other part of the assignment was like I had to draw a picture, that went along with the sentence I was writing. So instead of like using clip art or anything like that, I just like drew stick figures, and they were very like I am not an artistic person at all. So like when I say I drew stick figures, I want you to like imagine like literal like single line bodies, single line arms, like doing things. And also, like, I think I was giving someone a cake in one of them. So, like, I drew like a little like cupcake with like a single line candle, and I think I tried to draw a flame, but it ended up looking like a weird triangle. Anyways,
To be fair, I will go ahead and say that is probably that's the epitome of my art ability to this day. Like I tried multiple art classes, folks, and yeah, they. I just can confidently draw stick figures. Maybe that's my artist style. Maybe that's my animation. But please go on ahead, continue.
yeah, and like I go into my class and I turn it in. Like I don't really say much about it, and like I think that's the end of it because like by as far as I could tell, I had fulfilled all of the objectives listed on the rubric. Like I fulfilled the letter of the law, if you will. And fast forward to like I think a week later when the teacher hands them back out, and I find out I get a C. And I don't really think too much about it because like it was a really messy paper. I think I talked to her for a little bit. I was like, "Hey, why do I have a C?" And she's like, "Well, it's a really bad paper." I was like, "Is it?" Like I thought I did everything right, and she's like, "Well, it's really messy, and I can barely read it." And I was like, "You know what? It is really messy. I can read it, but it's my handwriting." And like it's a common like complaint I've heard in the past that no one could read my handwriting in high school. I don't even know if anyone can read my handwriting now, which is why I'm glad like everything's like over the internet now because like I can type and I don't have to worry about like my left hand smudging all of my letters. Uh, Dude, for all of you lefties out there, like you understand what's going on. Like when you write with your left hand, you can't really see what you're doing, and like you smudge your letters, so you end up like just scribbling just to get things done. But anyways, like I don't really think about like the C too much, and I was like I just go home and I show it to my mother because like like my mom asked like hey dude. Like she asked about my grades, and like she's in the system. She's a substitute, like so she kind of knows when I have grades going in. So like it's kind of hard to hide them from her. So I show her the C, and she's like, "Why did you get a C?" And I was like, "Well, I mean, like I thought I fulfilled the rubric, but like I guess she wasn't happy with it." And again, I think that's the end of it. I do not know anything about what I'm about to tell you until I don't find any of this out until like after I graduate high school. So the next day, I leave class and go to band practice, and I don't hear anything about this. Meanwhile, my mother blessed as she is, comes into my Spanish teacher's classroom, and like shows her my grade, and she's like, can you explain this to me? Like, why did he get a C on this? And she tells the same thing that to my mom that she told me, that it's a really messy paper. The artwork is literally stick figures, and like it's just a bad paper. It's like, but did he fulfill like the requirements? Well, technically he did, but like it as you can see, it's literally loose leaf notebook paper, and meanwhile other students have brought in like poster boards with like decorations, and like they use like glue sticks and all of these arts and crafty stuff that I am certainly not an arts and crafty type person, that I would never be able to hope to compete with. And my mom was like, well, is this a Spanish class or an art class? And the Spanish teacher's like, well, I mean, what, do you want me to like grade this paper on the same scale as like these like expertly done like craft things? Like, and my mom tried to give her like a little bit of benefit of the doubt. I was like, she's like, yes, I know this paper's really messy. I know it is done half-assed. It doesn't deserve an A. Like it's just like a piece of shit paper. But like he did also do everything right on it.
So it doesn't deserve an A, but it deserves an A.
Yeah, that's basically what she said. And she like ends up like calling the principal in, and the prince like my mom asked the same question to the principal: is this a Spanish class or an art class? What grade do you think this deserves? And this principal like took a look at the paper and is like, well, this is a Spanish class. He should be learning Spanish. If he's not an artistic person, that should have no bearing on this class. And like he basically like made the teacher change my grade. And like keep in mind, I have no idea that this entire thing went down. I didn't ask her to come in. I didn't ask her to say anything. I had no idea. And the next day I come into class and the teacher's like to our class giving like this spiel about how you shouldn't have your mommy come in to defend your papers for you. If you have a problem with your grade, you should take it up with me. And she's glaring daggers at me this entire time, and I have no idea what she's glaring daggers at me for, or why she's even bringing this up. Like I thought some schmuck just like cried to his mommy, and the mom came in, and I didn't realize I was that schmuck apparently. So I'm looking at her like, "What are you looking at me for?" While she's giving this spiel, and like the thing is, like I could tell that she didn't really like me, but I had no idea why for like the entire rest of the year. And I mean, I still got an A in the course because it's Spanish fucking 1, and it's basically like "Donde está la biblioteca" over and over again. Like, how do you fail that? But like the thing is, like I learned there's a epilogue to this story.
This is the best part.
Like years later, like years after I find out, after my mom told me that she went up there after I graduated, I found this out like literally like a couple months ago. Apparently, this teacher had a reputation for manipulating the grades of students in order to get them to come talk to her so that they could earn some extra credit. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge.
Do some favors, some after class exercises, some
extracurricular activities, if you will. I think you get what I'm getting at. And like, I don't know if this is true or not. It's just a rumor that I heard from someone else, but I think it's really funny because this is like I was almost in a porn plot.
Listen, man, you went ahead and told her about the grade. You know, your mom came in there and she was upset. The teacher was upset at you because you just wouldn't go for the extra credit, man. You wouldn't put the effort in for her, you know?
Apparently, like I just like, okay, she gave me a bad grade, I'll just make it neater next time. I'm like, I didn't really think too much about it. But apparently, like she got fired, like, or she left the school system like a couple years later, and like I don't know what the allegations were, but like apparently, like this came up, and like it's not the first time it's happened, or like I wasn't the first time that it happened to. So like, I don't know, man, like. I like my mom apparently cracked an underground sex ring for my Spanish class.
A Spanish extra credit sex ring. So,
Like,
you know
I,
what? It could have been you. You could have been the next victim of it. So
I,
your mom
I,
saved you from having to. How old was she, by the way? How old was the
uh,
Spanish teacher at the time?
she would not. I would not have been proud of that.
Was she like was she Stacy's mom or Stacy's grandma?
No relation to Stacy whatsoever. Let me put it that way.
Oh boy.
Like, I mean, like, as shallow as this is, like, there's no, like, would not have gone through with it even if I had the opportunity. Let me just.
It would have been an act of shame, pretty much. It's more of a punishment than anything.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Like, it would have been a punishment at the time, no matter like what she looked like. She was obviously like that would have obviously been like super manipulative. But like the thing is, like, I like that. Apparently, like, the principal like kept an eye on her after that happened. So like the thing is, like, she couldn't do it again without getting caught. So like I don't know, man. That's man.
Your mom cracked the case, man. You should go ahead and just give her like go ahead, just give her the detective award, you know, just you did good. You cracked the case of the the extra credit Spanish prostitution.
All I did was just tell her that I got a bad grade, and that I was like, man, I thought I did everything right. That's all. That is all I did.
Listen, man. I bet she specifically she was looking at you the entire year. She was like, you know, that little boy Reaper over there. He's got some nice little buns on him. You know, I'm waiting for the perfect opportunity to strike. You know, when he messes up once, that way I can give him that mediocre grade that will look bad on your parents, and the only way that he'll need to make up for it is to come see me. And that's what she tried to do. That's what it seems. And
Allegedly.
Allegedly. Yeah, don't want to.
I'm not gonna confirm, or I'm not gonna confirm that that's what was going on. She could have just said I gave her a bad grade, but like I don't know. I mean, like, the fact that like the principal came in and like told her to change the grade, maybe that could have like spread it on. But like I don't know why else she would give like this tirade about how you're not supposed to have your mommy come defend your papers for you, unless like she like was unhappy that like I deprived her of something. Like the fact that she was like looking at me and like, again, I had no idea that this went down. Like, none of this. I was oblivious to all, like, everything until like years later. So like that's basically the story. Like,
oh my gosh. Now, okay. Now, I want to go ahead, or I want to go ahead and ask a hypothetical here. Now, you already probably know where this is going, but under what circumstances, if you had to go ahead and say get extra credit from not specifically that teacher. I'll go ahead and be nice, like a teacher, like, you know, it could be, say, one that just got right out of college and went right into the schooling curriculum, boy, girl, whatever preference you have. And, you know, how badly would you say that you would need to screw up in the class? Would you even would you
I
ever?
don't think I would ever go for like that kind of like bait. Like, I'm gonna be honest, like that kind of the manipulation alone is just sickening to me. So like I don't think I would ever go for that.
Is it because it seems more like blackmail in a sense?
Oh, it's absolutely blackmail. It's 100% blackmail. Like,
well, I will see, or I guess I'm trying to piece together the piece because, like, in the sense, okay, well, yeah. To be fair, in this situation, yeah, you should have gotten the A. That's completely fair. But I mean, in the sense, like, if you genuinely fucked up on the assignment and got like an F on it, or you like did something wrong, like, you know, that isn't seen as blackmail. I'd say it's seen as bribery.
Bribery, like, I mean, the fact, like, if they're holding something over you and saying, "I'll keep quiet about this if you do what I say," I don't know. That's kind of blackmail to me. I mean, like, if they're like, the thing is, I was kind of like I was a good, like, I was a like goody two shoes kid in high school. So like I don't know, like I was on track to get like valedictorian at the time. I didn't get it. Like I got a hardcore senioritis, but like I was competing with like the top one like 0.1% of this population there, at the time. Uh, that sounds like a tremendous humble brag. That's not what it was meant to be. But like the thing is like the point was that like I was like a very very much like what quote one of the good kids. Um, so like I guess like if there's any credence to this story, and again I want to reiterate that like I don't know how much of that story is true. I just heard some like at least the last part of that story is true. I just heard like some rumors through someone else, and that like just seemed really funny to me. But like the thing is like I guess I made like was kind of an easy mark because like I was like isolated. I had moved to the school like a year earlier, and I still hadn't really made like a whole lot of friends at the time. So like I don't know.
Well, I guess you definitely it in total it just comes off as a pretty funny experience because oh my gosh, I have never had something like that. I've had something close, but nothing like that. Now, would you be all right if I actually shared a school story of my own?
Go
It's
go
nothing.
for it. Go for it.
Yes, it's not in relation to any sexual deeds for favors, but it's just as interesting. So, I went ahead and I grew up in a Catholic school system from kindergarten all the way to senior year of high school. And basically, it was connected in this one school, et cetera, et cetera. And we all sort of grew up with each other. In like, it was a K to 12 system, Everybody just moved together and we knew each other very, very well. And what ended up happening is that in my junior year of high school, we ended up going to we ended up having to take this a government class to go ahead and graduate. And I'll go ahead and say it was a tricky class. Had a basically memorizing all the constitution or all of the constitution, like the amendments, stuff like that. So it's pretty tricky. I could go ahead and understand why a lot of people were having difficulty with it. But however difficulty, this does not constitute for whatever behavior this student I'm about to say did. Now, reason I'm going to go ahead and keep this student anonymous is because he actually goes to the current college that I'm in right now. So I just find that ironic. But we'll go ahead and call the student B. Now, B, he was the sort of energetic jock, if you could say, of the school. He went ahead and was in a lot of or in a lot of sports, such as basketball. He wasn't in tennis, but you could kind of see him being one of those smaller tennis kids. But the thing with him is that he wasn't exactly the wisest. He was bright, but he wasn't wise in the long term of things.
I know that feeling.
Amen. So what happened with B is that he was overhearing a lot of the students kind of worrying about a government exam coming up. A lot of people were very, very nervous about it because it was an exam and they felt like it was going to really hurt each other's grades and it overall it was just everybody was sort of worried for it. Now, the thing with my school is that how it worked social wise is that if you were a part of the jocks, you were automatically associated with the popular kids. And with that, basically showed that since my school was extremely athletic, like they would take kids from other schools just to go ahead and increase their sports team. It's happened multiple times over the years. But basically, he saw that since he was an athletic kid and quote unquote part of the popular kids, he felt it was his duty, in a sense, to help everyone out, no matter what he could do. And so, what happened was that after it was one day, the it was one day. I want to say a Thursday afternoon. Everybody was packing up to go home and go onto their buses. But this student, he was a part of the basketball team, so he had a little bit of leeway between practice, which was held at that same very school. And so, in between that time, B, this kid, he decided that he was going to go ahead and pull. He was going to be a little bit of a hero here. And, well, what ended up happening is that after setting his stuff aside, he snuck upstairs and basically was watching the janitor make his rounds cleaning things up and was playing off cool. But when it ended up happening is
The
that
Mission Impossible theme was going off, and it said like,
yes, the Mission Impossible theme. Yeah, it's slowly going off in the background, and what happens is that the janitor, they end up leaving their keys inside the janitor closet, but they don't close the janitor closet. So what this kid does is that he takes the time to sneak into the janitor closet. He takes the keys off the rack. He goes over to the government teacher's room. He unlocks the door using the master key. And once he gets inside, he is looking for something in particular, like a gold, almost as if a divine intervention happened for this child. That as soon as he walked in there, he saw the exam right there on the test. The teacher was gone, and the only thing on there was the exam. It was just right there out for him. So, cut flash over to me. I'm sitting in my bed, just hanging out, kind of like looking at my phone, watching YouTube and stuff like that. And I go ahead and get multiple notifications on my Snapchat, and I'm like, what the heck? I'm not that popular. Come on, I shouldn't be getting this many. So I go ahead and check them, and I go ahead and find all or basically photos of that exam coming in. Just boom, boom, boom from multiple different sources, multiple different groups. And I'm just like, what is this? Which is ironic because I was in that government class. So I was sort of seeing it as a thing of just, you know, I mean, I'm not going to complain about it. It's like, hey, that's the exam, but
yeah,
delete this after I get it. Make sure nobody else
why,
knows that
that's why
like
I
this is
put it in
crazy.
Snapchat.
Yeah, exactly. Make sure nobody else gets it. So he was a bit smart there. He was a bit smart there. But what ended up happening is that he sent it to people that, well, he sent it to almost everyone he knew on Snapchat, anyone that was related in the school district. And when that happens, you tend to get rats, you get snitches. And so
Mm.
what ended up happening is that somebody anonymously went ahead and told the principal. The principal told the teacher, and they had proper evidence. They screenshotted the Snapchat and gave it to them. And what ended up happening is that the trail led all the way back to B. The kid went ahead and
Hard.
yeah, yeah. What ended up happening is that the next day that the kid came in, or he went ahead, sat down in his government class, and the principal was sitting inside of the classroom with the teacher, and he said, "B, can you come over here for a second? I need to go ahead and talk to you." This is where everybody in the class knew what was going to happen because it was a wildfire effect that everybody sort of knew. Once somebody got the exam, everybody got the exam. And so B was pulled out into the hallway. As he left, the teacher, he went ahead and lectured at us for doing such a careless and stupid act, and that he would have to rewrite the entire exam for it. And which, for good news, B was a bit of a martyr because that exam was pushed to next week. But what ended up happening to poor B is that he ended up getting suspended. Well, actually, he nearly got expelled because he went ahead and snuck onto school property with basically trespassing. He stole company equipment or equipment from the school and used it for malicious intent. And I will say that he is the luckiest man alive that his father actually works inside of the school district. And now what happened there is that since I'm in a Catholic school, they tend to be quite forgiving. And so what ended up happening is instead of a full expulsion, the kid got suspended for the rest of the semester. Now, after it was literally of that week, he was packing up all his things and getting ready to go. Everybody was kind of wishing him a fair good luck. They were seeing him off as a martyr in a sense. But yeah, that was the time that a kid basically stole keys from the janitor closet to go ahead and basically get a test or get an exam
It's
from
like
the government.
straight out of like an '80s movie, like
Yeah.
100%. Like the like. I'm half expecting like the scene of like him like dropping out of a tree and like like dark like sweatpants and like a hoodie and like sneaking his way in like still like duh, 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 you
I
know
I'm picturing it more as he's leaving the school. He like does the '80s like the Breakfast Club put fist in the air as he's walking out. It freezes and then plays the credits.
exactly, yeah. No, like I don't know, like I don't know if I would suspend the kid for that. Like
Well, no,
honestly,
he was going to get expelled, but
I don't know
basically
if I would even go that far. It's just like, man, like I don't know, like was this the first time he's done something like that? Like I mean, like
he had a few scuffs here and there. I think he was suspended one other time, but basically he just yeah, he went big. He went big or go home. So I can't believe he did that over one test, you know? I was impressed.
I mean, I guess like the actual crime like is like I don't know. The crime doesn't seem that big to me. Like he got an exam and like just sent it to everyone and said, "Hey, this exam is apparently like a huge bummer for everyone. So I'm going to try and help everyone out." And like I don't know. Like I don't really see like how that like should I don't know. Like I on the one hand, like yeah, he obviously shouldn't have done that. But
I
like
think
I don't know, suspending him just doesn't seem like the right thing to do in that situation.
I think it was either between the minimum was the suspension, the mediator was expulsion, and the maximum could have been prison time because he basically the main thing that he was in trouble for was trespassing onto basically, going into the janitor's closet, stealing a key, and he went ahead and used it to break into a classroom. So basically, they went ahead and it could have been a lot worse if they could have even.
Like in this case, there was like really like no harm done. Like what harm was ultimately done to the like the school? Like did he like he didn't like take the keys permanently? Did he? Like if he took the keys, yeah, no, like that would be like serious business. But like as long as he like left the keys like in the back of the janitor's closet, like I don't know.
I was unsure
Like
about whether or not I don't think he took the keys, but at the same time, I do think that there deserves to be some punishment for
absolutely. Like I mean,
okay, if I would have said that if the teacher went to the bathroom and like, the door was unlocked, yeah, no, that's less of a a crime in a sense, but he kind of purposely just got into a room. I think they might have thought that he lockpicked into it or something like that. But
I mean, like the thing is that like he's a teenager. He was a teenager at the time. Like he was just being a dumb kid. Like we were all dumb kids at one point. So like I don't know. Like taking him out of school just doesn't seem like the right thing to do. Like obviously like there should be some repercussions, but like I think it should I don't even know if it should be like detention like I don't know what that punishment should be. Like but like taking him out of school so he can do like other things like that doesn't seem like the greatest idea, at least to me. That's just my take on the whole situation because like at the end of the day like who was the victim of this crime?
the teacher,
I mean what all they were inconvenienced that they had to rewrite an exam. Or if they didn't find out about it, that like he would have given all of his students A's because they had studied beforehand. They had studied the exam beforehand.
it was
Like
breaking and entering though in private sort of personal like area. Basically, it. ye- I can understand where you're coming at it from your point of view, but at the same time, I do believe that there should have been a punishment for it. That like that this punishment, like there's definitely different standards of running and screaming in the walls or maybe saying an F word that would land you a detention. But breaking into a classroom to almost, just take pictures of a test using company or using like school equipment, like taking school equipment, that that
I mean,
that could be
the
seen
kid
on
was
a different level.
honestly, this entire thing. All I'm hearing is like, this is like clever use of technology. Like getting him. Like honestly, he should become a security expert. Like the fact that he could just like do that and almost get away with it if it weren't for the goody two shoes rats ratting him out. And when like I don't want to like I say rat. I don't know. Like the person who like told the teacher probably like definitely like almost certainly did the right thing. Like let's be honest. I mean, like it kind of it may have screwed like other people over, but like it you know it's the right thing to do in that situation. But like at the same time, like I don't know, like I kind of want to like I'm kind of I'm all I'm hearing is like this kid did some like really impressive shit and like people overreacted to something that like didn't really like cause any harm in the long run.
I All right. I think this is between like this is the difference or different viewpoints, I guess, coming at it. Like I see it as a more sort of I'm sort of understanding the school in the sense, while you're more sympathetic towards B here.
I mean, I guess we can leave it at that because like we've been going at this for like for an hour. I don't know if like I don't know how long how long we want to keep these episodes, or if we have do we even have like a outro? Like, did
We I mean, I'm getting to work on that. Like I said, folks, this is a work in development, and I'm
I mean,
working. I'm working
like
on things over time.
can we make our avatars high five? Like, is that a thing that we can do?
Uh, I, you know what? Let's go ahead and make. I can do it right now. I can make him high
Hey,
five. Are you ready for this?
yeah, right. 3,
Three,
2,
two,
1.
one.
Ha!
Bah! There,
All right.
I did it.
All
All
right.
right.
Is it over?
Yeah.
Are we?
Everyone, you guys take care. Have a wonderful day, and yeah, beware of stairs.